Hi guys, this is Skittflash here, and oh my god, look at this. What is this? It's too loud volume for one thing, but for another thing, it's an alternate universe. This isn't Team Proto Man anymore, this is Team Colonel. Look at the blue, and look at the start screen, it's all green and different. Now before I actually get on to the after game of Proto Man, I will be showing off most, not all, but most of the differences between Battle Network and Colonel, and most of that has to do with the characters. For one thing, this is all the operators. This is Team Colonel. We have our leader, Barrel. He's your cold leader person, and we have Higsby, you know, the nerd, and his thing, number man and whatever. And we got Tabitha, Rabida, something stupid, some frog pun. She's a party member. We got this ninja guy, Shade or something. We got Princess Pride, I think that's her name. She was in the anime, I think. I'm sure they all were, actually. We got a Dingo. I think his name's Dingo. I have no idea, but this is all the Team Colonel people. It's pretty much that everyone's it's the equivalent to the Team Proto Man people we meet. And they all have their, you know, their appropriate nabbies. I'm pretty sure Higsby's shop is a different color, and that's all weird. I have my chips a bit different. I had to actually rush through this Colonel playthrough because I didn't want to, like, you know, actually responsibly play through the entire game, which means that my chip deck isn't the most fantastic, but it's enough to get the job done. So now that I showed off all the characters, the next thing I want to show off is all the soul unisons, and I will be doing that one at a time, I suppose. Okay, so the very first soul we have, this is the Magna Man equivalent to the to the Colonel, is Night Soul. You get this by uniting with any break kind of chip. So Night Soul is a cool soul. It some of the properties I'll explain right now. You get to Night. I want to say you're a bit slower. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I seem a bit slower. His charge shot is a thing that hits all around him. So it kind of has limited range. But it will confuse people, so that's cool. Another property about him is you can charge break chips, and the break chips will be twice as powerful when you do them. Another property that you might have seen right there, I think that's the final property, so goody, I explained everything, is that if you actually use any chips in the very front row, you do get invincibility. And I absolutely love that. The fact that you can do that actually is probably what makes me like Night Soul a little bit over in Magnet Soul. Magnet Soul actually has some cool stuff that I hardly ever shown, but that's all the properties of Night Soul, and I think it's cool. So the next soul would be, thank God I got an invisible chip, would be Shade Soul. You get this by merging with any of those I don't know what other, like, invisible chips are the only thing I know about these souls, but yeah, with the little man that's in the dotted line thing. So his soul, he is much faster. I can probably I can safely say that he feels a lot faster. He has float shoe on, which means negative panel effects don't actually do anything to him. His charge shot is actually long sword. Now it has really short range. However, it does a ton of damage and it charges up really fast, so I think it's useful. If you charge any sword chip, and this charge is actually pretty fast, you can actually teleport behind the nearest person and do this assassination technique, and I probably should have kept that guy alive before I could show the last part about him, so I'm kind of sad about that. What else do I have to say? Do I have anything else to say? His last thing, I suppose I can show that off screen because I didn't show it properly. So again, I personally love Shade Soul more than Gyro Soul, specifically because of that charge assassination thing. That's just the boss. But another thing he has, if you press B back right before you get hit, you actually do activate this anti-damage sort of thing. It's sort of a counter move. So yeah, you don't actually press B back. He'll enter. You can't really see it, but if he gets hit during a short period of time, he won't die. I mean, well, that too, but he'll also retaliate with a shuriken, and that's pretty cool. And I think that's everything I have to explain about that soul. So moving on, the soul. Oh, by the way, the Shade Soul is the Gyro Man equivalent soul, but our next soul, this is the Napalm Man equivalent soul, is Tomahawk Soul. You do this by merging with any grass type chip. So now the cool thing about Tomahawk Soul is that, well, for one thing, as soon as you start the match, everything becomes grass, so that's cool. And if you use a grass panel chip on a grass, if you use a grass type chip on a grass panel, then you like, you know, you use up the grass panel, but you also do twice as much damage. So that's, you know, that's cool. His charge shot is pretty much a life sword range thing. It takes a really long time to charge, and there's a startup time to it, but, you know, it does a ton of damage, and it has a ton of range, so I think that's pretty cool. So he will actually heal. Oh yeah, you can see I'm very slowly healing right now by stepping on these grass souls. That's another property of whatever soul I am right now. Just keep in mind that I am weak. Being in this soul does make me weak to fire. And because I'm also on grass chips most of the time, I'm pretty sure you take quadruple damage to fire, and that's just not cool. Don't quote me on that, but you do take at the very least, double damage to fire. That's not cool. Other than that, this soul does have super armor, which means that if you get hit while in this soul, you do not flinch, which I find pretty cool. So if you're using like the super Vulcan, like you won't actually get stunned out of that if someone hits you. But yeah, is there anything else to? Oh, can you actually charge grass chip? I should have checked that before I did that. You know what? I can stay around to actually explain that. You might notice my chip deck's a little bit different. I'll probably be explaining that too. Let's speed up. Yay. So, question of the day: can you charge grass? I imagine you wouldn't be able to. No, you couldn't. And honestly, there's no reason you need to, because you have that ×2 grass panels just everywhere. But yes, that's whatever soul that was. So moving on. Okay, so now this soul would be number soul. You can use any number soul by, you know, using a number chip. And yeah, this activates number soul. Can I actually show off anything about number soul off the get-go? I don't think I can. That's unfortunate. Well, whatever. So number soul, the cool thing, well, not really cool thing. Number soul's charge shot, it actually takes a really, really long time to charge up. However, it does have a very long, and it's a lob chip, so that's not cool. But it has, and if it hits an enemy, then you actually don't get its full effect, as you can plainly see. But when it actually doesn't hit something, it will stay on the ground, and it will do variable damage. Oh, that was significant, actually. It does variable damage based on what number you'll get on the dice, and it hits all around, so that can be pretty cool. As you can see, when you're in number mode, your custom gauge gets expanded to 10 slots, no matter what you have on. I mean, usually I have 7 slots and 8 slots, so I'm already reaping some of the benefit of that beforehand. So that's, you know, that can be kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I won't lie. That's nice no matter where you are in anything. What else is there to show about him? I don't think he has anything like super significant about whatever, that's gonna kill it, isn't it? Well, okay, cool, I'll show off its last thing afterwards. So the last thing about Number Soul is that any non-elemental attack, like let's say Super Vulcan, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I'm not crazy, yes, it naturally gets a +10 bonus to attack to any non-elemental attack, so that's really cool, along with the fact that you can actually use, like, you know, the +10 gauge to set up cool program advances or find those +10 attacks. You can actually set up some pretty cool attacks. I think, even knowing that, I kind of like Searchman a little bit more, just because his buster is a lot more useful, and the shuffle is pretty cool too. And the +10 is cool for Number Man, but you know, I just like it. The Dark Chip. I don't think I'll be explaining Dark Chips, because I actually don't have all the Dark Chips, but you know what, I can do that actually. I'll do that after I do all the souls though. So our next soul is Aqua Soul, Toad Soul. You can fuse with it by fusing with any Aqua chip. What's significant about Toad Soul? I'm trying to think. Well, for one thing, you can charge up Aqua attacks. So there's a lot of cool Aqua chips, but you never really get to use them. I mean, they actually get to shine when you use Toad Soul. And keep in mind, you are actually water-based when you're in this soul, so you know, you'll take water damage, so be wary of that. His whatever, you also hide in sea panels. I'm pretty sure that's a thing, so that's cool. That's really cool. I can't really show that off I think I could. Give me a second, but I'll show that off later. But his charge shot is a seeking missile. It takes a while to charge, but it will stun people. It is electrical based, meaning that it'll do double damage to people on water panel, it'll do double damage to water people, and it homes and it stuns, so that's really cool. It takes a long time to charge up though, and I think that's all the properties of Toad Soul. Let me actually show off that hiding bit though. Never mind, I could have sworn I had CC in this game, but I guess I didn't bother to get it. That's unfortunate. So pretend but just take my word for it. I'm pretty sure you hide in water panels. Maybe not, that'd be hilarious if it wasn't the case, but anywho's the very last soul. The last soul is Colonel Soul. It's the last soul you get in the game. Now, it's a cool soul. Sadly, you have to activate it with block chips, and let me tell you, the block chips aren't really exactly the most useful chips there are in the world, so it's a cool soul, but it's hard to activate, and kind of just takes up space in your chip, but it looks cool. Look at this. His ability is Cross Divide. It's really cool. It seeks on the closest enemy, which means, like, you know, if there's no enemy in range, it just attacks 3 panels ahead, and it attacks in a V motion, so you kind of can see its range. It charges up pretty fast and does a decent amount of damage too, so I like that. Is there any way I can actually show this off? No, I can't. Well, anywho's, one thing about him is that if you have a block, I'll show off block chips. So block chips, ooh, you know how I could actually show this off better? No, this is gonna kill him anyways. Anyway, if you have a chip on the field, it does absolutely nothing. What the hell? Okay, that might actually be a Colonel only thing. Really? I could have sworn that was the case. That's confusing. I thought it did something. That might actually just be Colonel who has that ability and not Colonel Soul, in which case, damn, that's not cool. And I can't show off his arm change because I don't have any normal cannons. That's annoying. But yeah, again, chips like these aren't exactly the most useful. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Like, for example, I could have sworn he had one. Okay, just forget it. You know, let me actually read up on that. I could have sworn that's a thing. Okay, I figured it out. I'm checking out my handy dandy strategy again, and I realized the chip in question actually has to be on their side of the field to do it. But however, no, it has to be a not mega chip. Okay, forget I said anything. But yeah, let's show off the whole block chip. If you have blocks on their side of the field and they're next to said blocks on their side of the field, things will happen. As you can see right there, if they're behind them, the guy activates a sword, and if they're in front of them, the guy activates a whole, a thing. Now, see, that's kind of useless in my opinion, because, you know, it gets rid of the block for one thing, and it doesn't do that much damage. How much damage does it do? I'll give you all the damage data after, I show off all the, this is the last soul, so I'll give you all the damage data afterwards. Do I have even any normal chips? I don't think I do. What, damn. Yeah, you know what, let me rearrange my deck so I have normal chips so I can actually show something off. So as I was trying to show off, if you have any non-elemental standard chip, what you can actually do is you can set that chip to be your charge beam, which I find that's actually a really badass idea. I think that's really interesting. I mean, it's not exactly the most useful thing, but I think it's cool nonetheless. So now if I charge my beam, it's yo-yo. I'm not sure exactly what the charge speed is. Maybe it varies depending on chip. I really have no idea about that. But yeah, any normal non-elemental chip you can do, and again, that's just cool. I like it. I like Colonel Soul. I'm not sure what I like. Again, I probably like Proto Soul a bit more, just because. Oh wow, you can actually counter hit with that. That's interesting. So it counts as a chip. I didn't know that. You can't enter full synchrono because you're in a soul, but yeah, there's that. So yes, next off is data. Give me a second. Something I forgot to mention between the two souls that I missed is that Aqua Soul, Aqua chips naturally get a plus 30 attack boost, and for what the hell soul? Tomahawk Soul, you're immune to blind and status effects like that, along with having the whole super armor. Night Soul will do a base 40 damage, plus I'm just gonna assume like I have a busting level of 5, as you can see right here. So Night Soul will do 40 damage plus 10 for every busting level, so that's 50. So plus a 50 extra damage, so 90 damage. Shadow Soul will do 60 damage plus 5 points for every busting soul. That's an extra 25 damage, so 85 damage, and that's a pretty fast charge too, so that's nice. Tomahawk Soul will do 70 damage plus 10 for every busting damage, so 120 damage per Tomahawk slice. That's really cool. It's sort of worth its long charge. Dice Bomb will do 10, no, wait, no, if you go, it lands on a panel, does 5 points of damage plus 5 more, so it'll do 30 damage at max. It'll do 30 damage times whatever its faces on the dice. So 30 times at the most 6 would be 180, so if you get lucky, yeah, that can do a lot of damage, but it's also, you know, meh. The Toad Souls thing will do 20 damage plus 10 points of damage, so at the most 70 damage, which is decent. I mean, you know, 70 damage plus a stun. It takes a while to charge, but that stun and the electricity element makes it kind of cool. Screen Divide does 50 damage plus 10 points per busting level, so that's at the most 100 damage, which is really good. 100 damage for a very decent charge, plus you know, the fact that it homes in as long as you're on the same screen and has a good range. I think that's really cool. Buster chip. The longsword that the blocks will do 40 damage plus busting level, 10 busting levels at the most 90, and then just take my word that the Vulcan will do 10 damage per shot, which is what, fires 3 rounds per shot, doubles plus double, so at the most 20 damage, so 60 damage per shot, and paralyzing. So that's cool. Not much damage, but it's a cool thought, I guess. So that's all the souls. What now? The dark chips, I suppose. It just occurred to me that showing off all the dark chips would probably be redundant because they're just like most normal chips. Like Dark Drill is just a dark drill that does 100 damage per drill, and since it does a ton of drills, you could potentially do a ton of damage with that. Dark Lance is a 400 damage lance. Dark Plus, you use it before the chip and the next chip gets 50 damage. Well, that's very significant. I think that's really cool. Dark Sonic, it makes a trumpy that whenever it plays, it paralyzes the enemy. That's useful, but at the same time, it's kind of useless. I'm missing Dark Wave. I don't know how I missed Dark Wave. You have to buy it from some bystander, but it's just a wave. It shoots 3 waves that do, I think, 100 damage each, so 300 damage. That's nice. And probably the one I like the most is Dark Invisible. You know what? I can show off Dark Invisible at the very least. So Dark Invisible is essentially the play the game for you chip, and I love it so much. Basically, you use it, and you go invincible, and the game plays for you. If you ever enter Dark Mode, and you lose all your health, a similar thing happens. Basically, he'll use any chip in your inventory, any program advance in your inventory, move around and just go fucking insane, and move around fast, and it's really cool to watch. You can't get hurt while you're in this phase, so, you know, it's really cool. And again, any chip, that's kind of neat. And yeah, it's nice. But yeah, so that's the dark chips. So now the actual Navi battles. I don't know how long this part is. It says I've been recording for 30 minutes, but I've obviously been cutting a ton.